Hello everybody, I am Hacklebeast, and this is week 3 of the Swedish Brood War initiatives. The first set we are casting, Russia versus Eastern Europe. On the top right side, as the purple Protoss, in the 2 o'clock position is Dewalt. And on the left side, in the 10 o'clock position, is Wallace. So, alright. Alright. That didn't mess up the colors. Didn't mess up the colors. We're good. We're good. That's fine. It's fine. Only a 5-minute delay. We're in there now. And we may or may not have right replays. No, we got the right replays. We're good. We are good. We are in this PvP. Okay. So, we have, Dewalt versus Wallace, as I said. Wallace is, I heard recently he just got up to B-, so he is now a B- Protoss player. Does relatively well. Did relatively well in the lower rank tours. I think he got 3rd place twice, if I remember correctly, in the ASL. One of them might have been a 4th place. But still, very high rating. Consistent player. And now he's elevating himself up to the next level and playing against some of the world's best. And on the right side, we have some of the world's best right here, Dewalt. Russia's really one of their star players at the moment. I don't think Russia has one shining player that's vastly better than the rest of their team. On Eastern Europe, it's Technics. Technics is really good, and I don't think anybody is going to contest that Technics is the best player on Eastern Europe's team. But Russia, it's kind of a mix. On certain days it can be Dewalt, on certain days it could be Largo. Certain days it could be Lancer X even. And obviously Defi has been shown to perform a lot better than people expect him to, and be the best player in Russia. And I say that just because Defi's very self-derogatory in his own skill. He does not give himself enough credit. So yeah. But, by whatever the margin it is, a lot of people think Dewalt is the best player in Russia right now. We have Zealot, going Zealot first for Dewalt to chase around the probe. And Wallace, has he already picked up the probe kill? No, he has not picked up the probe kill. The probe is actually still scouting out. Okay. Looks like Dewalt sent a little bit later of a scout. And not only did he send a little bit later of a scout, but he checked the center expo first. And then came down. So, it's timing-wise, it's as if he just went and scouted across. Going to be quite a while before he gets to Wallace's base, and certainly will not be able to get any information, as a Dragoon will... A Dragoon will probably be out, but even if there isn't a Dragoon out, there'll just be 2 Zealots at the ramp, and the probe won't be able to get through. Yes, Zeki is in fact not on Eastern Europe. Zeki is Central Europe. The lines are kind of funnily. I want to say funny, but use the proper type of word to make sense in a sentence. They're drawn in a funny way, and to what defines Eastern and Central and Western. But they were really just drawn mostly for balance. Wanted to try to divide Europe into 3 teams that would be where they're all relatively competitive, and I think we definitely. I didn't have anything to do with it, but I think whoever did separate them did a good job. As I think that all 3 of the Eastern European teams are about similar strength: Western Europe, Central Europe, and Eastern Europe. Obviously, depends on what players they can get to show up on any given day, but all 3 of them are doing rather well so far. In fact, Eastern Europe, they've only played 1 game, where most other teams have played 2. They have only played 1 game, but they are undefeated, as is Russia. So the winner of this game will get 1st place in the group. Eastern Europe will be 2-0, and Russia will be 2-1 if Eastern Europe can pull it out. But if Russia continues their rather dominating streak, then they will be up at 3-0 and knock Eastern Europe down to 1-1 and have a real leg up over anybody having defeated all 3 of the teams already. Although Russia's had an interesting performance so far. Ooh, we got DTs. We got DTs coming out. Russia's had an interesting performance so far in that they beat Poland. They beat Poland really soundly. And it was really surprising when I first casted it. It was the very first thing I casted for Swedish Brood War Initiative's Nation Wars. I gotta go check Skype. It was the very first thing I casted, so it was a very big surprise to start off the season. But then last week, and in fact yesterday, was when I casted it, Russia just barely was able to beat Asia Pacific. Where Asia Pacific is certainly one of the weaker teams. And they did worse against them than they did against Poland. So, while they're undefeated so far, it's starting to look like Russia's general strength can flux a little bit. They still pulled it out 4-2. They didn't need to go to an ace match, but a lot of those series were closer than you would expect them to have been. Alright, so, Wallace is in fact going to be able to get into the base of the DT. I was going to say the Observer came out with plenty of time, and I don't think it's going to get him anything, but he might be able to pick up a few probes here, as it takes the Goons a little bit of time to get back to defend. That's 1, 2, 2. Yeah. Certainly not what you want out of a, excuse me, not what you want out of a DT harass. But it does, by going for DTs fast, he is able to expand quicker. And that expansion might be able to help overcome his lack of gateways in a little bit. He just needs to survive at this point. He has 5 cannons down. 5 cannons are a lot. Just a matter of will they be enough. There are also some High Templar there. Interesting decision to spend that gas on the High Templar. I guess with so many cannons thrown down, he just had a little bit of extra gas to spare, and storms would be quite nice, and boom, there is a very nice storm to start this off, and a second, also rather good storm. So 2 storms is going to put Dewalt, a little bit back here. He can't continue the aggression just now, and he's going to get up an expansion of his own. So this is looking like it's going to be paying off for Wallace. At the moment, I mean, you can see the supply. Dewalt has a definite lead, but what's not reflected is that Wallace has more supply in probes and has these cannons up to supplement his army. Because right now, Wallace's supply is 50, and that's his army. Just 3 High Templar, a Dragoon, and a Zealot. That's it. That's actually surprisingly small to have that small of an army. I know he can obviously get away with a smaller army because of the cannons, but ooh, that's living on the razor's edge right there. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Come back. Come back. Overlay. There we go. I did not know I could minimize it. And now I know I can minimize my overlay. Alright. So. Wallace has a lot of High Templar. Already up to 4. And getting them this early means that he's going to stockpile energy. When he decides to move out, which will be coming not soon, but it'll be coming in like, says 5 minutes or so. I'm going to guess 5 minutes from now at about the okay, that'd be more like 4 minutes. But between the 13 and the 14 mark, he's going to move out with an army, and he's going to have 4 High Templar, all with 2 storms each. If he can execute with those storms, he can do a lot of damage to Dewalt, even though Dewalt has more gateways and has been producing off of them longer. Has he also been getting an upgrade? That would be quite nice. He has been getting an upgrade. Not immediately thrown down. The cannons went down well before, but... Ooh. Interesting. Walt's going to throw down the Manor Pylon. Just to be a little bit annoying here. He knows that he can't stop Dewalt from expanding, and this is typically how DT games will go. Because you got the DT, it means that your base is safe, and you can take a fast second. But when your opponent realizes you have DTs, they get their Observer up, they're safe, then they get an Expo, and then they take a third, because they realize he went DTs, he doesn't have the gateway count. he needs to build all the while he'll have an okay economy, he just doesn't have the gateway numbers to be using the economy quite yet. So, since I know his army will be relatively weak, I can go and take a third. And even though he got a faster natural, I'll still be better off in the long run. And that's what Dewalt's doing right now. Ooh. Ooh, we got the Russia special. I say that because I think only Russian players build Dark Archons, especially in PvP. But yeah, this is something that Dewalt busts out every now and then. And I mean, when your opponent has an army and they're banking on 4 very high energy High Templar, that even if they get off one storm, the Maelstrom will still kill them. And it looks like it's just going to go in for the snipe. The High Templar are a little bit too far back. I actually like this move from Dewalt. Unfortunately, the Dark Archon is going to come just a little bit too late in terms of he just won't have enough energy. If Wallace wants to go in now, it's a little bit sooner than I thought he would attack. His army's still a bit small. But if Wallace wants to move in now, the Dark Archon will not have the energy to kill more than 1 High Templar. Might be able to wait it out long enough. And remember that feedback. Remember that feedback is a very long-range spell. If Dewalt really doesn't have anything going on, he can micro just his Dark Archon and try to snipe Templar along the fringes of the army, just because of how long range it is. It's like almost the range of a siege tank, if I remember my ranges correctly, but I think it's about the same range a siege tank has. Range of 9. For some reason, that number 9 seems right to me. Somebody can go check that and tell me how wrong I am about Dark Archons in their feedback range, but... Oh. It is 9, but tanks are 13. Okay. Tanks, you never underestimate their range. Even in PvP, we are still forced to talk about how ridiculous tank range is. It's inevitable. Alright, so Wallace moving in. There we go. Here's a little bit stronger army from Wallace. He has an extra High Templar and an Archon this time too. Is the Dark Archon going to be able to get the feedbacks off? Dewalt does not want to engage right now. He does not have an upgrade either, so +1 on all these speed lots is going to be quite strong. The Dark Archon, it does get a feedback off, and it kills one of the High Templar, but then immediately goes down, and oh, there was a great storm in there at the beginning. I think there are just simply too many speed lots here for Dewalt to really handle it. He did not want to engage this battle, and he's showing why right now, because there's just so many speed lots coming out from Wallace, so many storms coming out from Wallace to soften up the Dragoons, and now Dewalt, he's got to throw everything he has at this, because he really can't afford to do anything else. There's some more High Templars coming out from him. Storms go down, killing a lot of the probes here. And those Dragoons from the back are not going to be enough. They did slow it down, though. They have done a lot of damage, and now the probes are being pulled against an Archon. Never the best thing, but it's all Dewalt can do at this point. And most of the probes are going to go down, or the ones that hadn't already died. The natural was already oversaturated because Dewalt hadn't had a chance to transfer them. Ooh, 10 more. Hadn't had a chance to transfer them to the 3rd yet. So 26 probes at this expo, all have died now. And some extra speed lots coming out from Dewalt. His +1 finally kicking in now, but it's just going to be a little bit too late as Wallace is able to overwhelm his opponent. GG. And Wallace, strong performance from him. Strong performance from him, man. Okay. So, just as a little... So, I'm being told in the chat that feedback range is 10. And... Sorry, that feedback range is 10 and siege tank range is 12. So, 10 and 12, that's pretty similar. I'm going to say I'm right on that one. I thought it was plus or minus 1, but... Well, not plus 1, but the same or minus 1. Minus 2, I'm going to call that close enough. That gets the big stamp of close enough. Alright. So, going into the next game now, in the... Was this the same colors? This seems like the same colors. In the bottom right, as the red Protoss is Wallace. Sorry, messing with the overlay. He is Wallace, and that position is 7 o'clock. And in the top right is Dewalt. At the 2 o'clock, he is the purple Protoss, and let's get that overlay up there. Boom. Alright. So... It looks like this is not the game that restarted. Which is really weird, because not only are they the same colors, in the same positions, but they're also in the same positions on my little overlay program, which, to draw back the curtain for a second, this is what the overlay program looks like for me. So there are 4 slots, and they just appear in 2 random slots. Oh, on 2-player maps, they're always going to start in the top 2, though. So it's not... It's still, though, it's a 50-50 chance of starting on top or bottom. No, it would, the same person hosted, so they'll be in the same spot. Okay, so the fact that they're in the same spot doesn't mean anything on my overlay program, but still, same colors and same positions. Get me a little bit weirded out there. Gets me a little weirded out. Looks like Wallace... suspecting the cheese from Dewalt here. Suspecting the cheese a lot, actually. He's not only going 2-gate, but he is scouting out for the proxy. Interesting. Now, 2-player map, and Dewalt sent out a pretty early scout. So Dewalt knows that this 2-gate's coming. He's not going to have to put anything behind to get this gateway down. In fact, I don't even think he started his assimilator before he realized that he was going to want to throw down a gateway of his own. So he didn't lose those 25 minerals for canceling. We have 1 anti-manor pylon going down. I'm pretty sure that that one blocks this one. Obviously, it's going to be able to block this one, but I'm pretty sure it blocks this one too. Pretty sure. On the other hand, Wallace could go for a manor pylon of his own if he really felt it was necessary, but I think he's just going to move around with the probe and scout. I don't think he's going to go for any manor pylon. Anyway. Oh, ooh. I missed a probe kill, but we do have Dewalt scouting probe picking up a kill here. And Wallace's has not. So, other than that little lapse from Wallace to allow one of his probes to get picked off, both players having nice probe control so far, managing to stay alive against 3 zealots. Both of them taking actually similar damage. Never mind, Wallace is dead. And it's going to leave Dewalt's probe. Taking hits now and there, but as long as you only take 1 hit at a time, and as long as you recover the shields quickly enough, it's going to be fine. And actually... Oh, I thought it was going to leave. I was thinking that was going to be surprising that he left. Staying alive. Staying alive. I was going to say it's surprising if he leaves before the Cybercore goes down. Because you definitely want to see at least the Cybercore. And then, even better if you can get the next tech structure, but definitely stick around until the Cybercore goes down, because these Zealots should not be able to catch the probe if Dewalt's continuing to micro the way he is. Alright. So, Wallace has given up, and is now going and attacking with 7 zealots. What's Dewalt got? It looks like he's going to be expanding. And he's throwing down a pylon out here as if he wants to get cannons, which is not common off of a quick X, or excuse me, not uncommon off of a quick expo, but I don't see a... There it is. Forge is just lagging a little bit. Hadn't quite been thrown down when I first looked. So when that finishes, he'll already have the pylon done, and actually... Going for shield battery first. Alright, you do need a way to equalize the numbers, because Wallace did not expand and Dewalt did. So Dewalt's going to employ the shield battery. Okay. Let's see Dewalt's micro. We definitely have some opportunities for players to demonstrate their abilities right now, because there's so many zealots here that the better microing player can easily take this, despite the fact that there's a shield battery. So it just comes down to who's going to be able to do it better. And the shield battery really is coming into effect, but Dewalt, feeling the pressure a little bit, pulls some probes, and certainly with those probes out, that's definitely going to turn the battle in his favor. Has an overwhelming number of zealots now. It looks like 7 to 4, if I can count correctly. Yeah, it was 7 to 4, now 6 to 3, and Dewalt is going to be able to take the offensive a little bit here. Wallace with a nice little trail of zealots. It looks like 4 in total. Not coming to support, but instead going to attack. There's already a cannon down, so I don't think that there's a whole lot they can do. And wow, he's just going to go for the run by. Actually, Dewalt's pulling a lot of probes to try to stop that from happening. A little bit surprising. I guess this is a little bit inconvenient for Dewalt right now, having to micro on 2 sides. But no. Wallace doesn't micro at all, so it's going to be fine. That's going to be a lot of zealots to deal with. Wallace has his cyber core up, can start to micro some goons a little bit, but will there be enough? Or can he simply just make enough goons to overcome this? A lot of these zealots are injured. Wow, all 4 of those zealots are very injured. So the dragoons, they're not going to be able to pursue. Very unfortunate that they couldn't just finish off those zealots. But Dewalt is going to be able to retreat with them, allowing 1 zealot to sacrifice itself in the name of the 4. 35, 14, 17. Alright, and it looks like Dewalt, it's a nice number of zealots, throwing down gateways, getting cannons, getting goon range, all nice stuff. What is Wallace doing? What kind of tech is he looking at? He's looking at a robo facility, and finally his expansion. Expansion very much late compared to Dewalt. Dewalt is a nice fat supply lead at this point. Alright. As you may notice, all of these zealots have completely full shields, thanks to this little sucker right here. I mean, what else are you going to use it for? Okay. Interesting. Wallace is sending a probe out here. I doubt it's to scout out for the hidden expo. But at the same time, he's already thrown down his robo. Getting a support. Wonder what that's going to be all about. Anyway, Wallace needs to back up right now. A lot of these elves are going to go down very quickly as the shields just melt to the goon fire. So, yeah, the shield melts to the goon fire since they didn't have any health. They're just not going to be the tanky things that they usually are. So Wallace is going to back out of that, even though Dewalt had a lot higher supply. And really, with that many low health zealots, that might have been a little bit of a blessing in disguise. Without their health, they don't tank stuff. And until you get speed, they're just not going to be that useful. So it actually is going to free up a little bit of supply for Dewalt. Maybe it's questionable whether that's actually good or bad for him to not have to build the extra pylon. I don't know. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world that those zealots went down. Alright. It looks like this probe was not to proxy. Just wanted to make sure that there's no hidden base here, as Dewalt did go for a fast third last game. And he's going to throw down that pylon to make sure that he'll know about it when the expansion does come. Okay. So, Dewalt, very nice supply lead, up by 30. But Wallace does have a lot of dragoons. He's a lot of Dragoons, and he does not have the same probe number, so his army isn't that far behind. On top of that, and maybe more importantly, he does have this Reaver. It looks like he doesn't want to try to engage head-on, but he is going to go for a little bit of harass here. Flying directly over the pylon, a little bit unfortunate, but a good move by Dewalt to have those already up. Going to give him a little bit of warning before the Reaver. Oh, Dewalt pulled the probes, but it backfired, clumping them up even more. And the Reaver had to pull out because the goons were coming in, but that's one very nice shot to start off the harass. If he wants, he can come in here, go for one more. But nah, it doesn't look like Wallace is going to get greedy. Looks like he's just going to fly away. Okay. Now, Dewalt has +1, because he got his forge early. Does Wallace even have a forge? No, Wallace does not have a forge. He is just getting his forge up now. So Dewalt does have an advantage, +1 weapons. He's also going to have speed, or does have speed. Speed is finished for his zealots, which will be quite nice compared to the slow lots. And really, slow lots just won't matter for Wallace very much. Speed lots are a lot better versus the Dragoons. But there are two Reavers here, and it's got to come down to these Reavers, who, I don't know if this is the best position for Wallace. It looks like he had a good angle, but he had to fight up a hill, so that could have been a lot worse for Dewalt, but Dewalt's going to be able to back out without losing too much. I think both players thought at the beginning of the fight that they had the superior position. Dewalt because he was on a high ground, Wallace because he had more of his army engaging. But now, Wallace is just going to go up the ramp. This is a risky move from Wallace, but he does have more units. He can't afford to lose a Reaver. He's got to keep him alive. No Reaver Micro! No Reaver Micro! Wallace! Oh no! Both of the Reavers go down and do not do a whole lot of damage, and all of his goons are stuck on a ramp. Oh, the mischance. Wallace really wanted to get a decisive push there, and he thought with his Reaver support he would be able to do it, but then, why were the Reavers in such a vulnerable position right here? They're just all going to get attacked by goons coming in. Oh, Wallace. Wallace, 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 and there goes his advantage. That was really the one advantage he had, 2 Reavers. But now the Reavers are dead, he's going to have to remake them, and Dewalt is going to have tech the next time that there's a real engagement, so it won't be an advantage for him. Oh, boy. Here comes Dewalt, and I don't think that there's anything Wallace can do against this. Dewalt just had too big of an army. He has upgrades. He has a lot of reinforcements coming in. Yeah. I mean, he needs a Miracle Reaver, maybe. And that's nah, not even a Miracle Reaver. That's just simply too many goons. Wallace! Wrong time to attack, buddy. Wrong time to attack. Alright. Just hop quickly back into fish. I think we gave it enough time. Yes, we did. Alright. And little D&D. I never know whether it actually does D&D because it's just a bunch of question marks. So that could be Korean for no input. I just assume it works. Alright. Game 3. Alright. Game 3. The loser picks destination. It's a PvP. Alright. What are we gonna see? What are we gonna see, Wallace? What you got? Oh, we are wasting no time. We are wasting no time with our shenanigans. That just fucking first probe. Very first probe, sending it out. In the top position is Wallace. He's the green Protoss. In the bottom position is Dewalt. He is the purple Protoss. I didn't even need to change anything from my overlay. Ooh, I do need to change the positions. Oh, fuck! Oh, man, Dewalt. Dewalt with a proxy of his own. And the proxy probes cross. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So, in the bottom here, we have not quite horror gates. Horror gates are manor pylon into gateways, but he's just going to throw down the gateway right to the next to the Nexus. No hiding at all. On the other hand, Dewalt, he's not going to attack the Nexus for a little while. I think Dewalt doesn't want to pull through with this. I think Dewalt has given up on his proxy aspirations. We're going to keep an eye on this, though. The probe attacking the Nexus. It's not as if a Zealot's ever going to come out over there. All the Zealots are going to be down here. That would be the best ending to a game. Wallace forgets that there is a probe attacking the Nexus. And the probe does like 1800 damage because of all the shield regeneration and kills it. We'll see. Nearly identically timed gateways. Nearly identical timed gateways. Unfortunately, I can't even tell whose is whose. I can try to look at the minimap. Okay. So, it looks like we're doing a little bit of crisscross here. Because why not? And I think just based on the minimap, this one is Wallace's and this one's Dewalt's. Huh. Kind of like we're just surrounding the Nexus. We're trying to bully the Nexus into submission here. Did Wallace lose his probe? Wallace lost his probe? Oh, Wallace lost. Game over. Game over, man. That's it. He lost his probe, and then he lost the pylon. Oh man, he's not gonna be able to get this out. He's sending another probe. He's sending another probe, but he's just going to take so long to get that pylon up. On the other hand, Dewalt's not mining. Or he wasn't mining. He pulled all of his probes, so he wasn't making zealots. We are throwing down another pylon. Over on this side, the probe was dealt with. So that's nice. Not going to lose his Nexus in that fashion. Alright, Wallace banked a little bit here. Now he can spend that bank on getting out some extra zealots. It's going to be hard to catch up, though. He's just going to be consistently one zealot behind. Oh, catching 2 probes is nice, though. Is he just going to go for probe kills now? It's looking like it. That's 3 probes down. And now, Dewalt's pulling everything once again to just attack the gateways. This might be able to work out for Wallace. He's ignoring the zealots because he realizes he's never going to be able to win that fight, but he's picking off a lot of probes. That's only 5 probes for Dewalt right now. Dewalt has 9 supply. Oh man, is this actually going to work? Like, I said Wallace was dead when he lost that pylon. But did he just really never give up? Did he send a probe down and he's going to be able to pull this game out? It's looking pretty good for him as he continues to pick off probes. It's looking way better than it should. Dewalt can't afford any more zealots. What? Wow. Wallace upsets Dewalt and comes back from losing the probe and the pylon from his 2-gate in-base proxy. Hell of a way to start out a set.